hello. I want to welcome you to, instead of to an exciting episode of Pens in Use this week, because honestly I've been shoveling snow so they haven't seen a whole lot of use, I would like to bring you my top 10 fountain pens for the year. Now I just had a few simple rules for myself, and there's no science to this, and the only ranking in this is by price. But one of my rules was these have to be pens that I have reviewed. Now I have a few pens drifting around this room right now that may displace one or two of these from the list next year, but I haven't reviewed them yet, so there they stay. I also I wanted to include vintage pens, but then I thought, no, these have to be pens people can buy. Although I'm going to cheat at the end and give you my 3 favorite vintage pens that I've reviewed. Let's see what else. And I just wanted a pen at each price level, and let's get started. And fun fact, when you get to the end of a top 10 review and look down and say, wait, there's only 8 pens laying there. Oops. So, I have shot this before. This time, though, I counted several times. I have 10 this time. I even wrote down which 10, and I forgot to grab 2 of them. Alright, so starting out, this here is the Pilot. I'm sorry, no, it is not a Pilot. Sorry. This is the Platinum Preppy. It is a cheap pen, and it belongs on this list. It beat out the Pilot Varsity, the Thornton's Novice, the Jet Pen's Chibi, which is a pen I love, the Pilot Petite, for good reason. Versatility. Let me explain. First of all, right here inside the cap is a wonderful mechanism to keep it from drying out. Uncap the pen. The nib is no great shakes. It works. What I think is kind of nice about the nib, I can pull it out. What that means is I can replace it with the various felt tip or marker ends that are available. I can even put in a Noodlers Noodlers rollerball tip. Awesome. And that's not the end of the versatility. Inside the pen, it's a cartridge converter. Most people I know just use it as a converter. As a cartridge. Converter is a pain in the neck with this pen because you get a lot of extra ink right here around the bottom of the grip section that drips out until it's all gone, and that's annoying. But you can eyedropper it. All you have to do is smear some silicone grease here, and you have an eyedropper filled pen. So, very reliable, very versatile, and that's why I recommend it at this price range. It's probably, if we want to talk value for money, here it is. Now, if you're like me, you're into a little bit nicer pens. Here is a nice pen. This is a Pilot Metropolitan. Now, it comes in several funky colors, but it's a Pilot, so it's a good, reliable pen. I like this pen a lot. I don't get excited using it. It just quietly gets out of the way and lets me write. Metal-bodied pen, which is interesting. There are some other variants, like the Pilot Kakuno, which I like. It smiles, but it's more of a child's pen. There's the Pilot... I don't remember what it's called. The Pilot something, the clear one anyway. Much more expensive, so you don't have the value. It's a fine nib. It's a cartridge converter pen. This one comes with an aerometric converter, but I believe Pilot is now changing that. You would think that this grip section, the step here, would be annoying, but it's not. It's out of the way. Just all in all, a good, reliable writer. It's classy enough to take it into a business meeting, and it comes in several much classier looking finishes. Nothing that anybody's going to look at this and say, what an expensive pen. But it is a nice pen, and it's reliable. Now I have another pen here. We're going to jump up in price, and we're going to look at a different philosophy for why I'm recommending this pen. This is a Noodlers Conrad. Now, Noodlers Conrad comes in several variants, so I'll come back to that. This is their resin version, which is the cheaper one. You can also get a Noodlers Nib Creeper. You can get the Ahab. You can get the Nippon set. The Creeper's actually cheaper than this guy. But I'll tell you why I recommend this one. Number 6 nibs make it versatile, so you can try out different nibs in it. In fact, I don't have the standard flex nib that comes with it, which, by the way, is a fun thing to play with. This is a Noodler's standard nib, but any number 6 nib will do. And you get to learn how to heat set a nib because it's an ebonite feed. You get to learn about the piston mechanism. You can totally disassemble this pen. If you ever need to, you can replace parts here. Yes, I need to clip fingernails. If you can replace parts here with just washers from the hardware store, plumbing department. Has a thoughtful blind cap, which doesn't mean as much on a demonstrator, but there you go. Just all in all, a good pen, good value. They may not be the most loved in the pen world. It's a very polarizing pen, but I put them here because this is a chance at a low cost to learn how to work with pens and learn how they work and learn how to do your own repairs and such. Good pens for that. Now it does come in several variants. Like I said, I'm trying to get them here. I don't have a table, really. Just this tiny little TV tray here. And if you saw my house, you'd see why. All right, so what I have, it comes as an acrylic. This is the Forbidden City acrylic in a lot of finishes. It also comes in an ebonite version. And I tend to find that these ebonite and acrylic versions are just a little bit better made. I have an early ebonite, and it doesn't have the tolerance or the careful manufacture that these do. So, now we're doubling the price when we get these finishes, but if that's your thing, might be worth it. But I do consider the resin one a good entry-level pen to experiment with. So any number 6 nib. All right, so let's jump up in price just a tiny bit to another pen that a lot of people recommend as a first pen. This won't hold still. This is a Lommy Safari. Now you can no longer find this particular color, but it's the coral, which was a special edition. So each year they come out with a special edition color. Sometimes they have a matching ink. They actually had a matching ink for this, and I own a bottle. Yeah, my first Safari, and I went all out for it. This is a cartridge converter pen, snap cap, very functional. I love that they thought this ink window through, even though it's a cartridge converter. I can see it without unscrewing it. Decent nib. The triangular grip bothers some people, but it doesn't really bother me because that's kind of how you're supposed to hold a pen anyway. It helps train me not to do a death grip. Inside, I will admit, well, I think actually everything I've shown you so far does not use a standard size converter or cartridge, but so it has its own proprietary converter, but still, good, reliable pen that just works. So it's one that I always recommend to people who are interested in fountain pens. And you can change the nibs out and put other nibs on. Now, if you want to go upmarket a little bit, you can get the aluminum-bodied All-Star. This is another special edition color. You can go really upmarket and get the Studio, which has the exact same nib on it, unless you go for the gold version, in which case you're adding quite a lot to the price, and so far I haven't felt like it's worth it. So, there's a lot of possibilities that Lommy gets out of the same nib and feed, basically. All right, let's jump up again, not very far. By the way, watch out when you order them. They usually do not come with a converter. That's annoying. I want to introduce you to my slightly worn Tyvek Sport. Now, this is a fun pen to put on here, and I include it because it's something that none of the others I have laying over here are. It's a pocket pen. Now, the feed comes separately. Or, I'm sorry, not the feed. The clip comes separately. When you post it, it turns into a full-size pen. I don't write with it unposted. There's several different nib sizes, and I like that just recently they came out with a push-pull converter that enables you to refill it. I also know that some people have eyedropper filled them. You can purchase an aerometric converter, which I don't like, but the metal variant, that's all it fits, so yay. And speaking of which, it comes in a number of different colors. Here is the metal variant, the stone-washed that I mentioned. Here is the Skyliner, which is a more silvery trim. And you notice I eventually gave up on clips, like I did with the aluminum one. So a good, versatile pocket pen. I recommend it. Alright, so we're going to take a small jump in price. Not a very big one, but a small one. And explore a newer manufacturer. This is a Twizz Be 580 aluminum. I started buying Twizz Be back when they still had the Twizz Be 540, which was prone to cracking. In fact, in another video I showed you pictures of the pieces that I have left, and the only original part that's left is this little the piston mechanism. Anyway, Twizz Be really fixed that. They did a very good job, so I'm very happy with that. You know, the plastic just doesn't crack anymore. I'm sure if I swing this around and maybe throw it on the floor, I can get it to crack, but, you know, so would a Mont Blanc 149, so there you go. This company, I should say, has made an effort to respond to the consumer. They have been very good about, if the pen does crack, they will replace the parts that are cracked. They've been very good about listening to what consumers want. They also are very good about, this is a pen you can take apart. Just like the Noodlers, this is a pen to experiment and play with. It even comes with a little wrench and a little bottle of silicone grease in the box. So it's a piston filler. So far, the only other piston filler you've seen has been the Noodlers Conrad. So kudos to them. Some other pens in their line would include the Twizz Be Eco, which is a less expensive pen. I don't have any experience with it. Twizz Be Classic, which is a more standard-looking pen. In fact, with the Twizz Be Classic, they listened to the customers. Customers wanted to be able to post it, but they couldn't. So Twizz Be changed this end, put some rubber rings on it so they could be posted. Awesome, they're listening. There's a VAC 700, which I just gave mine away. Well, didn't give it away, I'm trading it. There's a VAC Mini, there's a Twizz Be Mini. They have a lot of different pens now. I like this faceted barrel, I think that's attractive. I like the piston. I like the fact that I can take it apart. When I unscrew it, there's a lot of different nib choices. Unfortunately, this is not a number 6 size nib, so I'm kind of stuck with what they have. But here's a neat feature. If I unscrew this, I can stick this end into their special inkwell and fill the pen without getting the nib all inky. I think that's a neat touch. Now, I have not done that with this pen because my first Twizz Be was meant to be a Bay State Blue pen, and that's what's in that particular bottle is Bay State Blue, and I'm not going to do that to this little fella. So all in all, a good pen. Reliable, and they listen to their customers. So it's a business I want to encourage. Now we're going to take a slight jump into exotic land. I was really torn about whether to include this one or not. I almost included another Pilot, but then I thought, no, let's branch out a little. This is an Aurora style gemstone. I have just found that I'm really pleased with it the more I write with it. It's probably one of the cheapest pens Aurora makes. It's a steel nib pen. In fact, so far all of these have been steel nib. Snap cap, kind of retro looking, very plain nib, very good nib actually. It just writes smoothly and well. Feedback, which I do actually like feedback. It's a cartridge converter pen. I can't recall right off the top of my head if it came with the converter or not. But that is something you may want to watch out for with this brand. But overall, just a very nice, reliable pen is what it's turned out to be. Doesn't look like much. But, man, I I have been surprised at how often I have this one inked up. Now we're going to jump into gold nib territory now. I'm grabbing 5 pens actually, but we'll put one variant down where you can see it. And we'll keep the others off to the side for a minute. This is a Platinum 3776. This is in the Bourgogne finish, or Bourgogne, I'm not real sure how to pronounce it. I was going to look, but I forgot. Gold nib pen. This is a soft fine. Well, let's get it closer. What the heck? Focus. And there we go. So it's a soft fine nib, gold, like I said, 14 karat. You'll never be confused and think it's a flex pen, but it is nice and it's attractive. I like this understated red finish. It's like the color of wine. And cartridge converter pen. That was disappointing at first, but you know, a lot of what I've been showing you has been a cartridge converter pen. It is a nice pen. And there's a lot of different nib variations. There's the soft and the regular version of medium and fine. There's a music nib, there's a broad nib, there's a double broad nib, there's a extra fine nib, there's an ultra extra fine, there's all kinds of different extra fines. So very thrilling. Now I also have the Chartres blue finish. This one is a music nib. They come out with, there's some solid ones. They come out with some special editions. In fact, over the past few years, they've been doing lakes around Mount Fuji. And by the way, the 3776 has to do with the height of Mount Fuji. This is one of the special editions. This is the Shoji. This one is the Yamanaka. And one of the things that makes the Platinum 3776 Century, which is what all these are, so neat, is right here inside the cap. The slip and seal mechanism. So when I cap the pen, you'll see it twists into place and there's a spring here to hold it against the nib. What the company claims is that these pens will not dry out in a year. So I have 4 of those. By luck, I stumbled upon this beauty. This is in the celluloid finish. There's several lovely celluloids. Normally, you're talking a huge jump in price for the celluloid. Luckily for me, I was able to find this celluloid at the same price as these 2 special editions on sale. So I got lucky there, because otherwise I wouldn't own this celluloid one yet. But if you're looking for a good, reliable gold nib pen, here you go. The Platinum 3776. I don't know what they're planning for special editions in the future, but I'm excited to find out. Now, we're going to jump to my favorite pen. You knew this would be on the list. Doesn't look like much, but what an amazing pen. This is the Lommy 2000. This is my daily writer. This is the only pen that is inked all the time. On the outside, it looks like a cheap marker, except a very precisely machined cheap marker. It's part of that Bauhaus school of design where form follows function. So don't look for any exotic fancy finishes here, although it is Macrolon. Semi-hooded nib. I'm going to actually bring the camera down here in a minute. So we'll just examine it then. Snap cap. Now let's bring the camera down here so we can study some of these features a little more closely. So yeah, it's dirty because it's inked up. So semi-hooded gold nib. Alright, if you notice a little continuity jump there, that's because I filled up the card in the camera. I apparently forgot to delete my last review. So, yeah, there you go. Alright, so we're going to do a close-up here. Look at the nib and such, and there's some details I want you to see. So first of all, nice aluminum clip and so on the cap. It is a snap cap, which some people would prefer screw-on, but I think that's Lommy doing its Bauhaus thing. A semi-hooded nib. It's actually a gold nib coated with, I believe, platinum. A nice steel grip or aluminum, I can't remember which. And then up here, the infamous ears, which are what hold the cap on. They don't bother you. At least they don't bother me. And notice something. Do you notice here, around the ears, where the barrel unscrews? It is so precisely machined you hardly even see it. A little further up, kind of around here, has an ink window. Again, unless it's empty, you really don't notice that either. And then up here, what am I showing you? Piston filler knob. There. If I turn it in the light just right, you can barely make out the line. Very, very precisely made pen. Very reliable. It's just all around awesome. I own two of them. This one, and then I own one that's a broad nib. And it's a very unique broad nib. I really enjoy writing with it. This, like I said, this pen deserves its place as my favorite daily writer. I'll just, since I haven't mentioned alternatives in a bit, I think in the Twizz Be range, Conklin Durograph may be an option to look at. We just passed the Lommy 2000 line. Some other pens worth looking at there might be the Pilot Custom 74, another pen that I am trading. Pilot Custom 92 is a bit above the Lommy, but honestly I think the Lommy is the better pen. But the 92 is a good pen. 74 is a good pen. 74 is a cartridge converter. The 92 actually has a piston built in. I suppose the Pelican M200 is in this price range, but I own one, but that's a pen I could be talked into trading. It's just, I don't think anybody would want it though, because it's kind of stained, but whatever. It's something I have. See what else? Oh, Edison. I'm forgetting Edison. Edison pens are at this price range. Not the custom ones, just the regular ones you buy at Goulet Pens or Anderson Pens or whatever. The regular production models are at this price range with a variety of nibs and a lot of very colorful, flashy finishes. So there are a lot of pens at this price range. And when you start going above this price range, you start to wonder, okay, am I getting value from, well, probably at that price range, you're starting to wonder that too. Am I getting value for money? Well, this is a pen that's purely a gimmick. I really fought with myself over what am I going to put at this price range. So let's pull this pup back. Just to put it down again. This is a Pilot this is a Pilot Justice 95. Some of the other pens I considered putting here instead were the Pilot Custom 823. I wasn't really going to put I didn't seriously entertain putting the 743 there. 743 is a good pen. I just don't get excited about it except for the nib. The 823, I was torn, and I finally went with the Pilot Justice, and there's a really good reason why. First of all, I like the finish on it. Very plain and understated. It is a cartridge converter. It uses the really good cartridge. If you look inside, here's what makes it interesting. This is a soft nib. But do you see this special little bar? What that does, off camera, because I can't turn it under the camera, is I turn this wheel here, and it lowers this cantilever kind of thing. And you can see maybe my pen hygiene isn't perfect, but that actually helps show the cantilever. And it goes to being a hard nib. Now, I knew it was a gimmick when I bought it, but doggone if I don't like that gimmick. I use it. So that's why I put this pen here. Now, if you don't like the gimmick, the Pilot Custom 823 is a little bit cheaper. The Pilot Custom 743 is a bit cheaper. And they have more nib choices. So, something to think about. But I put it here because it is unique. And it does offer a lot more versatility. I thought about, do I put my Visconti, I'm looking over there, my Visconti Homo Sapiens, my Kaweco Dia 2. I didn't want my Omas because they're out of business. And in the end, this is what I came to. So, real quickly, at the cheap end, Platinum Preppy, a good reliable writer. Pilot Metropolitan, also versatile, by the way. Less versatile, but very reliable and very quality. Noodlers Conrad, a good pen for experimenting and learning about flex nibs. It may not be vintage flex, but it's a good pen for learning flex. And it comes in some exciting finishes. Lommy Safari, just a good functional pen that you can depend on. That's a little bit higher priced, offers a few more features. The Tyvek Sport, good pocket pen. That's why it's on this list. The Twizz Be 580. I like this pen because you can tinker with it. It's reliable. Twizz Be does listen to customers, and it's just attractive. And there's several different pen models depending on your interest. The Aurora Gemstone. I was torn about this one, but it's a good pen, and ultimately that's why I put it here. Good pen with a steel nib. If gold is your thing, very, very good pen. The Platinum 3776, available in a variety of finishes. I need to get higher to fit my last two pens in. Available in a variety of finishes, special editions, a variety of nibs, although they are a little harder to find here in the United States. Just an all-around good pen. My favorite of the bunch, Lommy 2000. Reliable, well-made, and a good writer. And capping out the top end, my Pilot Justice 95. Very versatile, again, reliable. Has not a flex nib, but a soft nib, which can be made hard. And it has my favorite Pilot converter on it. So this is my this is my top 10 this time. This is at the point where, first time I recorded this, I said, wait, there's only 8 pens here. So, now let's set them aside. I'm going to end this video with a little bit of eye candy. Make sure nobody falls over here. So, if I'm going to end with eye candy, of course, I want to talk vintage. Now, vintage, the trouble you're running into with vintage, as one of my commenters pointed out, I'm reviewing pens you may not be able to find. I see myself as recording a little bit of history. Perhaps you can find one like it out there, perhaps from getting you interested in a brand. So this is all fun. One sort of practical, but mostly this is for fun. I picked out my 3 favorite vintage pens. And it was hard. It was like, who's my favorite kid? You know, there was a Tyvek Dia from the 30s I wanted to include. I have a couple other vintage pens that I haven't reviewed yet I wanted to include, but that would break my rules for this video, so I didn't include them. So, in no particular order, loving the Pond 52, a Norwegian pen with a surprisingly flexible nib, gold of course, from the 1950s. The company went out of business in the 90s. A button filler pen. Doesn't look like much, but man, what a fun pen to write with. And it will be inked up again soon, now that the snow's all shoveled. This pen is the Tyvek V14S. This comes from an era when Tyvek made some really nice pens. I think they're getting back to it. Semi-hooded gold nib. There's a blue ink window, which you can hardly see right now. Honestly, if I had owned this pen before the Lommy 2000, this would be my daily writer. I love this pen. And finally, probably my favorite pen of the year, maybe ever, is this glorious Centro pen. This Centro pen came as a pen and pencil set. I don't have that handy, but just a glorious pen. And it's going to be inked up again real soon. So I'm zooming in here. Oops, and I just hit a button. I don't know what button it was. You can't see it, but I sure can. All right. Anyway, first of all, the celluloid is beautiful. Gold-filled furnishings. Blind cap to cover a piston converter. I don't feel, or not a piston converter, a piston. I made the same mistake when I reviewed it originally. The cap just fits on perfectly. Screw cap reveals this ink window and a grip made out of the same cellulite and what is quite possibly the most flexible nib I've ever used. This pen is fun to write with. And yeah, I can't think of a better pen to end this whole video on. So that will be inked up again soon as well. So well, let's leave some eye candy. What the heck? And this one's pretty. I'm closing this video down, but if you've watched this far, you have to be a regular viewer. Otherwise, why would you watch this far? So I'll just tell you, I'm going to work on my schedule for the new year. I already made a mistake with uploading videos. This video was actually going to be my Wednesday upload for the week. And apparently I scheduled my Skyliner a week early. So, whoops. But I will start uploading my pen reviews on Wednesdays at, I think, 3 o'clock Mountain Time. So if you're on the East Coast, that'll be 5 o'clock. If you're on the West Coast, that'll be 2 o'clock. And if you're somewhere else, well, figure it out. I will be doing my pens in use. I plan to film those probably Thursday and then have them appear on Friday again around the same time, 3 o'clock Mountain Time. My driving videos, I'm still trying to figure out a time. I think those seem like a morning thing, so I'd like to upload them Sunday morning, maybe around 9 or 8, again, Mountain Time. Somewhere in there. I'm not exactly sure where. If I have one. Now, I have driving videos for quite a while yet, because, yeah. But anyway, so I'm just trying to be on a regular schedule. I learned how to upload and then schedule when they appear, which is what I did with the Kaweco Skyliner. I just scheduled it for the wrong week. So I look forward to doing this. I can upload this way at any time, and they will always appear at the same time, which I think is pretty awesome. So I thank you for making this channel what it is. It's been a great year, a great few years. It's just been fun this year to see the unexpected growth in this channel. Just the number of subscribers. I'm over 500 now. I never thought that would happen. I thank you for your encouragement in getting me to improve my lights, my sound, my technique, and all that I've learned about talking to a camera that can't talk back or react to me. And I hope this will stand me in good stead for a education project I plan to work on over the summer, which you will see the fruits of that either in the summer or fall. So I thank you for all this. It's been an interesting 2016. I look forward to an exciting 2017. And we'll see you later. Bye-bye.